Hello everybody and welcome to Lost by Time if you're new. In this series we discuss the lesser talked about players in chess history. In today's video we are going to be discussing Robert Byrne. Robert Byrne was an American Grand Master. He was in his prime from the 60s to the 70s. You might also know his brother. His brother was Donald Byrne. Donald Byrne infamously lost to Bobby Fischer in the game of the century where he sacrificed his queen. But Robert Byrne was the stronger of the two brothers, with him actually being a Grand Master, as well as being a U.S. champion, a world champion candidate, as well as a 9-time chess Olympiad participant and a 7-time medalist. And the game I bring you is from round 8 of the U.S. Open played in Chicago, Illinois. The date is August 1963. And the game begins with d4, knight to f6, c4, g6, and a g3. Bishop to g7, bishop to g2, short castles, knight to c3, d6, knight f3, c5, and short castles follows. And now we have knight to c6. An exchange on the c5 square, opening up the d file and offering a trade of queens. With that being said, the bishop comes to e3, attacking the c5 pawn, and the queen comes to a5 to defend this pawn. So we have the bishop coming back to d2, setting up possible discoveries for the queen on a5, as well as probably coming to this diagonal in the future to contest against this King's Indian style bishop, and as well as freeing up this e-pawn's mobility. So we have bishop to f5 and knight to d5, attacking the queen, putting the knight in the center, queen to d8, attacking this knight, so we get knight to h4. The bishop defending the bishop from g2 defending this d5 square, and the knight from h4 attacking the bishop on f5. So the bishop comes to g4, h3, bishop to d7. And you might think that this is a waste of a move, but in reality, Gligorich wanted this move from Byrne because he wants to play his queen over to c1 and try attacking this weakness. Bishop to c3, contesting this diagonal, and queen coming to c8, the king comes to h2, and the rook comes to d8, lining up with the queen. So f4, bishop to e8, and e4. Knight takes d5, c takes d5, knight to d4, contesting the diagonal, and rook to c1. e6, and we have e5. Knight to b5, and bishop to b5, playing off of this pin on the b4, or on the c5 pawn, my apologies. b6, and d6, creating a protected passed pawn on the 6th rank, attacking the a8 rook, and overall making this position winning. The bishop comes to c6, and we have a bishop sacrifice on c5. Bishop takes g2, and bishop takes on b6, creating an attack on the queen, an attack on the rook. I don't care if you take my rook. The queen moves to b7, the bishop takes on d8, the bishop takes on f1, and the bishop comes to e7. Rook c7's coming. So knight takes on d6, e takes d6, but this bishop's open now. We have a bishop to b5, and a rook to c7, rook to b8, a4, attacking the bishop. The bishop moves to e8, and queen to c8, or queen to c2, my apologies, I was looking at the c8 square. We have queen to b4, and b3. We have g5, knight to g2, and g takes f4, knight takes f4, and bishop to d4, putting the bishop on the most active square. Rook to c4, attacking the queen and the bishop. Queen moves back to b6 to maintain defense of the bishop. Queen to d1, defending the check. Bishop to e5, attacking the knight, attacking the d6 pawn. Knight to d3. Bishop to g7. Knight to c5, putting the knight on that beautiful square. The bishop comes to c6, but d7. Bishop to d5, and rook to g4, creating a pin on this g7 bishop. So after f5, we get the stunner move, bishop to f6. Why? What if I take this rook? It's very simple. Queen takes g4. And look, you just cannot stop it. So with that being said, as this shows you, spoilers of course because of Elite Chess, king to f7, and yeah, rook takes g5, or rook takes g7, my apologies. King takes f6, and the queen comes to d4, putting the king in check and x-ray defending that rook on g7. e5, attacking the queen, but the bishop hangs, but the rook hangs, but your rook hangs, and you resign. Have a good night.